Good morning. This is Akashwani. I am Nishit Kumar with the World News. The headlines. Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces agrees to US-led proposal for a humanitarian ceasefire after 2 years of conflict. Typhoon Kalmaegi claims 5 lives as it slams Vietnam with fierce winds and torrential rains. Pakistan and Afghanistan exchange fire amid peace talks in Istanbul. And Indian hockey to celebrate its glorious 100 years with special events across the country today. In Sudan, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, has agreed to a US-backed proposal for a humanitarian ceasefire after more than 2 years of conflict with the Sudanese armed forces.
In Sudan, the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces or RSF has agreed to a US-backed proposal for a humanitarian ceasefire after more than 2 years of conflict with the Sudanese armed forces. The RSF announced its decision shortly after capturing the city of Al-Fasr in the Darfur region. The truce proposal was put forward by the US-led Quad mediator group, which includes Saudi Arabia, Egypt and the United Arab Emirates. The group said it accepted a ceasefire to address the catastrophic humanitarian situation and to allow the urgent delivery of aid to civilians after an 18-month siege. However, Sudan's military-led government has not yet responded to the proposal. The civil war between the RSF and the Sudanese army, which began in April 2023, has seen multiple ceasefire attempts, none of which lasted long. The RSF, facing international criticism over reports of mass killings, says it remains open to talks aimed at achieving lasting peace. Payal Sharma for World News.
Pakistan and Afghanistan have exchanged blame over brief cross-border clashes as delegations from both the countries met in Istanbul, Turkey, to finalize a ceasefire following deadly clashes last month. The talks aim to implement a truce agreed on October 19th in Qatar, which ended a week of fighting that killed dozens, including soldiers and civilians, and left hundreds injured. Security remains the central issue, with Pakistan accusing Afghanistan of harboring groups like the Pakistan Taliban (TTP), blamed for attacks in Pakistan. Taliban government in Kabul denies the allegations. The third round of negotiations is underway in Istanbul. Afghan government spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid reported that Pakistani forces opened fire on Spin Boldak in Kandahar province, raising concerns among locals. Typhoon Kalmaegi, an unusually powerful storm for November, has slammed into Vietnam after battering Philippines, bringing fierce winds and torrential rains. In the Philippines, the typhoon left over 100 people dead and dozens missing. In Vietnam, Kalmaegi packed sustained winds of up to 183 kilometers per hour, forcing Vietnamese authorities to evacuate over 537,000 people amid rising floodwaters and landslide threats. In Quang Ngai province, 3 fishermen are missing after their boat was swept away by powerful waves. The storm is expected to dump over 60 centimeters of rain in some areas, worsening the already severe flooding across Vietnam's central provinces. The Embassy of India in Bangkok and the Consulate of India in Chiang Mai have facilitated the return of 270 Indian nationals, including 26 women from Thailand's Mae Sot, to India. The operation was carried out with the support of the Thai government and involved 2 special Indian Air Force flights. These individuals were detained by Thai authorities for violating immigration laws after entering the country illegally. The embassy in Bangkok said they had recently crossed into Thailand from Myawaddy in Myanmar, where they were allegedly employed in cyber scam centers. Indian missions in Thailand and Myanmar are continuing efforts to secure the return of other Indian nationals still in Myanmar who may have been involved in similar activities. The embassy has urged Indian citizens to thoroughly verify the credentials of foreign employers and recruiting agents before accepting overseas job offers. India's ambassador to the US, Vinay Quatra, met Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs, Paul Kapoor, at the State Department in Washington on Thursday. This was their second meeting in 4 days, following a discussion at the ambassador's residence on Monday. Both officials discussed ways to advance the US-India partnership and shared priorities. Kapoor, an Indian-American diplomat, recently confirmed as Assistant Secretary had previously worked on India-US strategic and defense engagements. The meeting comes as US President Donald Trump indicated plans to visit India soon, praising Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a great man and his friend. Mr. Kapoor highlighted the strong ties between US and India, including cooperation on trade, technology, energy and regional security in South and Central Asia. This is Akashwani giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our X handle at AIR News Alerts. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website, newsonair.gov.in, and download the News on AIR app. Welcome back to the world news. Leaders from around the world met at a climate summit in Belém, Brazil yesterday, voicing concern over a fractured global approach to climate change and criticizing the US government's climate policies. Ahead of COP30, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged nations to do more to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, highlighting the urgency of the climate crisis. The conference city of Belém, at the mouth of the Amazon River and on the edge of the world's largest rainforest, will host 50,000 participants from 10 to 21st of this month. President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said the location was chosen to keep discussions as close as possible to the heart of the issues facing the planet. The summit will bring together a global assembly of leaders, scientists and environmentalists, putting the Amazon rainforest firmly in the spotlight as the world debates solutions to the climate emergency. On the second day of his official visit to New Zealand, Union Minister Piyush Goyal held high-level engagement to enhance trade, investment, connectivity and cultural exchanges between the two nations. Mr. Goyal and New Zealand's Minister for Trade Todd McClay co-chaired the India-New Zealand CEOs Roundtable. Mr. Goyal emphasized opportunities for collaboration in technology, agriculture, education, clean energy, tourism and sustainability. He encouraged New Zealand businesses to deepen partnerships with India for mutual growth. On his way to Rotorua, Mr. Goyal met Air New Zealand CEO Nikhil Ravishankar to discuss boosting regional and global connectivity, highlighting India's expanding aviation sector and tourism potential. At Tete Puya, the National Centre for Maori Culture and Arts, the Commerce Minister received a traditional Maori pauhiri. Mr. Goyal thanked Minister McClay for the warm hospitality and reaffirmed both nations' commitment to advancing India-New Zealand relations towards greater friendship and prosperity. A nationwide celebration will be marked today to celebrate 100 glorious years of Indian hockey. We have a report.
More than 1,400 matches will take place across 550 districts as part of the centenary celebrations. The main event will take place at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi from 8:30 am, featuring a series of special events that capture the essence of Indian hockey's glorious journey. A 30-minute exhibition match featuring the Union Ministers 11 and Hockey India's Mixed 11 men and women will highlight gender parity, teamwork and inclusivity with elite players from both the men's and women's national teams participating. This will be followed by the felicitation of hockey legends recognizing their contribution to the sport. An official commemorative volume, 100 Years of Indian Hockey, will also be released as a tribute to generations of players who have shaped India's hockey legacy. A large-scale photo exhibition will also take place at the stadium to take visitors through a visual journey of 100 glorious years of Indian hockey. India holds the status of world's most successful hockey nation with 8 Olympic gold medals and 13 Olympic podium finishes. Chirag Jha, Akashwani News, Delhi.
At the FIDE Chess World Cup 2025 in Goa, 8 Indians will be playing in the tie breaks for the second round today to find a place in the third round. These are R. Pragyanananda, Vidit Gujarati, Nihal Sareen, Pranav V. S.L. Narayanan, Karthikeyan Murali, Pranesh M. and Ronak Sadovani. In women's cricket, the retentions for the Women's Premier League WPL 2026 were announced. Defending champions Mumbai Indians retained their skipper Harmanpreet Kaur, who also led Indian side in lifting the ICC Women's World Cup title held recently. Royal Challengers Bengaluru also retained star Indian batter Smriti Mandana, while they also retained the other crucial players including Ellis Perry and Richa Ghosh. And now before we close, here are the highlights of the bulletin. Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces agrees to US-led proposal for a humanitarian ceasefire after 2 years of conflict. Typhoon Kalmaegi claims 5 lives as it slams Vietnam with fierce winds and torrential rains. Pakistan and Afghanistan exchange fire amid peace talks in Istanbul. And Indian hockey to celebrate its glorious 100 years with special events across the country today. And that is the end of this news bulletin.